Hello everyone, and welcome back to the start of the 12 days of Deltarune. It has not been very long since I last did this, so it's crazy I'm already having to do it again, but as you all know, I'm sure, Deltarune Chapter 5 is releasing in 12 days, who would have thunk? So I'm going to be trying to post a new Deltarune video every day up until then. We'll see if I am successful. Today, I want to talk about the one little thing that Toby has given us along with the trailer for Chapter 5, which is that the Another Chance ARG thing, how long did it take her to smile, you know what I'm talking about, has been updated again. I want to look into it and try to make some assumptions, alright? So, seems how the topic is smiling, and the last time I did this, I didn't have the whole recommended reading idea yet. I do want to recommend this video to you. It is about smiling in Undertale and Deltarune, and I think it is quite good, and maybe will inform you as to why this is so important. Okay, so this is what we've got. The new email says, "What about next time?" Now, I couldn't capture the page because it's already gone, but the question when you clicked "What about next time" was, where did she smile? So it's more so asking the question of like, okay, we know when, but where? And I do have a pretty stark idea about that. So I didn't get this email either, by the way. I think last time my answer was 1225. So I'm pretty sure I did not get moved on to the next round. And so I wasn't able to even see this really, but here we go. So last time, the answers we got, there were a few different conclusions that were given to us. Either you got basically something that says that's wrong, or you got move forward with this answer. So 11 hours, 11 years, 11, neither of those were move forwardable. These ones technically got a different answer, but also didn't move forward. So until she met Susie, it's probably nothing to do with Susie, but it does conclude that the person we're talking about here is Noelle, which I think we could all kind of presume. These two are also "you're getting ahead of yourself," which makes me think these are referring to post Chapter 5 Deltarune, right? Cold water will not fall from the sky in Chapter 5, and she will never smile again after Chapter 5. How lovely. Now we get the move forward with your answers. One of these is more interesting than the others, based on what we know. One day, then the next day you'll see her smile. That makes sense. We're talking about Chapter 5, so given this was sent out around Chapter 4, one day does make sense. 30 seconds, so before the sun went down. Now, this is much more important than it seemed before. Like, when I did this original video looking through these, I was like, okay, so it's before the end of the day. It basically means the same thing. However, the emphasis on the sun going down in Chapter 5 is about, you know, the end of the fun era of Deltarune and moving into the pure, like, pain and anguish era. And so that, to me, confirms even stronger than anything else. This is during Chapter 5, right? 11 hours, 12 years. Then it was the first time she smiled since she was a child. So this implies that what we're talking about is something to do with Des, right? Noelle hasn't truly smiled since she was a child, because Des disappeared while she was a child. So you can maybe see where I'm going with this. You don't think it was really you that made her smile? Move forward with this answer. Okay, so it's not the player. It felt like a countdown. Move forward with this answer. Okay, so maybe that means it's a time-limited thing, you know? Like, at some point, the smiling will stop, and Noelle is going to be cognizant of that. She never smiled. Do you think that means she still can move forward with this answer? So perhaps she hasn't truly felt true joy, I suppose. Or in this case, she isn't feeling true joy, but maybe she could. And then she was already smiling, so she never stopped to move forward with this answer. That one's the weirdest. With this sort of narrative I'm building here off these answers, she never stopped smiling. I think this could be implying the fact that Noelle's basically been covering up her pain with a smile this whole time, which does make sense, but it is interesting. And then finally, the answer of 4 chapters. Then it was the first time she ever smiled in her life. Move forward with this answer. So this is a meta answer, essentially. Noelle's life is really only the 4 chapters of Deltarune that exist. Everything before that isn't technically real, right? So after 4 chapters, in chapter 5, it'll be the first time she ever quote-unquote smiled in her life. All of this is basically leading to one conclusion, in my opinion. Essentially, that chapter 5 is going to feature the return of Des in some way. Because think about all of that in terms of Des, right? The next day you'll see her smile. Okay, so, before the sun went down, the first time since she was a child. So she smiled when she was a child because Des was there, and now the next day and before the sun went down, she'll smile again. Presumably that is because Des will be there. It wasn't really you who made her smile. That makes sense. It wasn't Chris, it was Des. She still can, even if Des is gone, we can maybe find a Des sort of darkener, perhaps, which is why she might be feeling it like a countdown, because the dark world has to be closed eventually. It's like a dream to her, right? At the end of that chapter, and the closing of Asgore's dark world, well, it's not Asgore's, I don't think, anymore, but to do with him, this copy of Des will disappear forever, and Noelle will be without her again. And then, of course, this is just more leading towards chapter 5. So yeah, I think that's basically what we can conclude from this. This is a big teaser for Des coming back. And I really think, as crazy as that sounds, I don't think it'll literally be Des. I have pretty strong opinions on how this is going to happen. You'll have to wait for that, or you can watch my breakdown of the trailer, where I also kind of mentioned some of that, the trailer in the newsletter. But I do think this is also necessary for the story. Like, we've slowly built Des up, right? In chapter 2, we get our first real mention of her. Before that, we just know, like, something's up with, like, in chapter 1. And then in chapter 3, we get a lot of information about her. And in chapter 4, we see her room and can learn about her sort of physically, right? In chapter 5, actually meeting her, or at least a version of her, is the next step before chapter 6 and 7, where we presumably meet the actual her. And everything that we've concluded about her up until now will be put to the test. That really just makes too much sense. So, yeah. Des is coming back, in a way. That's it. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. Again, I'm going to be making 11 more of these little Deltarune videos. They won't all be theories, but some of them will. Some of them will also be streams, so watch out for those as well. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.